Plato and Aristotle are two of the most influential philosophers in history. Plato became the teacher of Aristotle, who, although a long-term pupil, was able to find many faults in Plato's theories, and in fact became a great critic of his teacher. Despite his criticisms, though, Aristotle was influenced by Plato, making their works, which target the same aspects of philosophy, easily comparable. Both Plato and Aristotle based their theories on four widely accepted beliefs: that knowledge must be of what is real, the world experienced via the senses is what is real, knowledge must be of what is fixed and unchanging, and that the world experienced via the senses is not fixed and unchanging. All of these points together led to the skeptic point of view, which is that knowledge might not be possible. Both Plato and Aristotle wished to target these skeptics, as both agreed that knowledge is possible. Each philosopher chose a point of these four beliefs to disregard and prove to be unnecessary in order to conquer the skeptic viewpoint. Plato chose to reject the claim that the world experienced through the senses is what is real, so he had to give an account of where knowledge could be found, while Aristotle rejected the claim that knowledge must be what is fixed and unchanging, so he had to account for how to have knowledge of that which is undergoing change. This led to the philosophers' overwhelmingly different thoughts. Plato and Aristotle both used their definitions of form to overcome their relative problems when it came to knowledge. Form for both philosophers was ability to classify all things. Chairs are chairs because they reflect the form of a chair. However, their precise definitions of form did differ. Plato claimed that particulars, or objects, are only crude representations of their form. The true form is perfect, and objects that can be described as having this trait are imperfect representations of this perfect form. For example, a beauty particular, such as Helen of Troy, is physical and accessible to the senses. Her beauty is also only temporary and relative to the observer, because aging and individual opinions alter how her beauty is observed. Her beauty being combined with non-beautiful parts like her organs and non-beautiful perspectives mean that she cannot contain the permanent, perfect form of beauty within herself. Rather, Plato claimed that the form of beauty is accessible to the senses and is not physical, existing outside of time and space, so it can only be understood through reason. The form of beauty, being pure beauty, also differs from the beauty particular, or the object, as it is eternally and irrefutably beautiful, no matter who experiences it and at what time. Aristotle refuted Plato's definition, believing it to be unclear and illogical, and claiming that a chair can be understood to be a chair due to its relationship with a form existing outside of time and space. Instead, Aristotle's method of defining an object's form was through the object's purpose, which it has been given by the designer. So a chair is a chair because it has been designed to have the function of a chair. That of which the chair is made could have been given a different form if it had been arranged differently. This way, the form of an object exists within the object in all similarly designed and purposed objects. So it's unnecessary to disengage from this world in order to understand a form, as it can be observed and understood on Earth. This also enables us to have knowledge of an object while it is undergoing change, as its change is contained within its purpose. For example, an acorn has within its form the potential to become an oak tree if not interfered with. The change which it is to undergo is contained within the knowledge of its form. This became the basis of Aristotle's teleology, the study and explanation of functions. Aristotle proposed that nature does nothing in vain, as everything has a purpose given to it, perhaps by a god. With this, Aristotle looks not only at human artifacts but also nature. Eyes have different structures and methods of operation between species, yet they all share the form of an eye, as they all exist for the purpose of seeing. Even though both philosophers use form to understand objects, only Plato believes it is required to gain knowledge. Plato also thinks it's essential to disengage from this world to discover an object's form, whereas Aristotle believes we need only study the objects and discover its function. Both philosophers also speak to the human condition. Plato's allegory of the cave is the key to understanding his view of the human condition. In this allegory, the human condition is likened to being trapped in a cave facing a brick wall, only able to see shadows and unaware that there is anything else in the world. The world beyond, though, contains the truth of reality and acts as a higher plane which must be accessed in order to gain knowledge. One person in the cave is set free and forced to climb a steep hill representing the struggle and effort it takes to gain knowledge and learn as a philosopher would. The struggle is also portrayed as a worthwhile act, as the freed person now knows reality and not merely the shadow of reality. People remaining in the cave represent the ignorant, the uneducated majority of society. When the philosophically enlightened person returns, are unwilling to believe him and would rather cast him away than accept his truth. Plato was a transcendentalist, meaning he believed that to understand truth, one must transcend beyond this world to a higher reality where true concepts exist. In this reality, beyond the senses, the knowledge found is unchanging. This makes it necessary to use asceticism to find the truth. By doing this, Plato is able to ignore the sensory distraction of the body in which he is trapped, while also minimizing the distractions of the appetites of the body. Plato uses mathematics as the paradigm of knowledge, as its truth exists beyond sensory perception. Aristotle does not agree with this idea of the human condition and uses biology as the paradigm for knowledge. This encompasses his view that knowledge need not be of an unchanging nature, but can be gained by observing the world around us. Aristotle becomes a leading forefather of the naturalist thought in philosophy, which studies natural occurrences in the world and nature in order to gain knowledge. He did not see the human condition as a trap distracting the mind from truth. Instead, Aristotle believed we could use the body as a tool to aid us in learning. His view of everything having a purpose would suggest that the human body itself has a purpose, which allows it to accommodate what humans should be able to have knowledge of. Use of his natural senses were all Aristotle required in order to learn. Although this is only a brief summary, the differences between Plato and Aristotle's theories do outweigh the similarities. Both have ultimately left large gaps in their theories, which leave them open to criticism. However, their theories led to two of the greatest philosophical views: transcendentalism and naturalism, which has enabled future philosophers to build upon their original views and revise them to accommodate new information and discoveries. Both philosophers, despite their differences, are the foundations of modern Western philosophy